Hey there, and welcome to my freelance channel. This is my first video, and I want to walk you through a blog post that I just published a few minutes ago. It was about my experience with Upwork as the best freelance platform. So I'm gonna talk to you about my experience, and then I will give you 5 reasons why I think Upwork is the best freelance platform. Okay, so my experience with Upwork actually started before it was named Upwork. It was called oDesk at the beginning, and I think the old generation of freelancers or beginners in freelancing back then, they are all aware of the fact that Upwork was actually a merge between oDesk and Elance. Okay, so I think around 2016 is or 2015 is when the rebranding happened and it became Upwork. So I had an account in when it was still named oDesk. So my account automatically shifted to this Upwork. And I was getting a couple of notifications, when someone invites you to an interview. But it was until 2016 I had an invitation to an interview from somebody who needed a freelancer to write blog posts in French. Okay, so I had a knowledge of the language as a language, but I wasn't like a copywriter or something. I was just beginning. My whole experience was around a total maximum of 3 months as internships. Okay, so I didn't I had zero experience, and this job invitation that I got was for a very low hourly rate. Okay, it wasn't that much. It was really, really low. I can even say it was under $5 per hour. So back then, as I said, the maximum of earnings I was getting from other things like writing in another language was not exceeding $500 a month. Sorry, $200 a month, not even 500. Okay, so for me, working for that hourly rate, writing as many articles as I can was both a learning experience. Okay, I was learning how to write blog post because the owner was okay with me writing for the first time, and he also said he will be reviewing my work, so there was no pressure over there. So after that, I started earning a lot more than $200. Okay, and also it was a very good opportunity for me to build a reputation on Upwork because on freelancing platforms the number one challenge of freelancers is to get that first review. Okay, then you need your second review, then you need to show a history of earnings so that your profile starts showing among the rising talent, for example, top rated and then top rated plus. Okay, so now I will tell you exactly why I think Upwork is the best platform, the best freelance platform out there. Okay. By the way, I didn't mention that I also had accounts on different freelance platforms. It wasn't only on Upwork. I remember I was even trying anything that I found because back then I was a hustler. I was trying to find anything that will get me money from the web or the internet. Okay, so when I started freelancing, as a summary of what I already said, I wasn't a top expert. I was just a fresh graduate because that was the year to 2016 when I got my master's degree. Okay, and I didn't have a network online. My LinkedIn was very in bad shape. I didn't have any connections or whatsoever. My Facebook friends, they were not a professional network because we were interested in different things. So that didn't help me at all. I really started from zero. which is really scratch. Okay, then Upwork gave me actually what other freelance platforms failed to give me. First, it was a level playing field for me. What I mean by a level playing field is that um, I was I had a competitive advantage. I didn't have a competitive advantage, and nobody else had a competitive advantage over me. I'm not talking about the most experience or the best profiles, but I'm talking about the kind of jobs that were available for people like me with zero experience. So that was for me a level playing field. Then I had access to very high quality clients. Okay, some of them were even Fortune 500, Fortune 100, Forbes 30 under 30. These were a couple of rankings of the clients that I was able to collaborate with. And having access to that kind of clients, um, it wasn't something that you can just get, especially being from, a North African country. I wasn't in the US, so I wasn't living in the Silicon Valley or, LA, where that kind of things is very normal. Okay. Then it offered me a steady stream of work because the moment I finished my first contract, I was able to negotiate better rates and then ensure I have a steady stream of work and income from those clients. So the second idea or the reason why Upwork is the best freelance platform is um, when I got my first $100, it really felt like I achieved something very big. Why? Because it wasn't about that money. I even know that I made over $100 from that just one small job writing articles. It was, I think, more than 400 or something. But the first 100, it felt really big. Okay, because I knew I had proof, like proof of concept. I like to name it proof of concept that I have something that I can really monetize. Okay, and it also proved to me that Upwork is a serious platform, that I can find clients if I want to, that I can continue multiplying this 100 to reach even more than that. Okay, so this gave me the proof I needed. Okay, and it really destroyed my imposter syndrome because that imposter syndrome that was telling me all the time, maybe you're not qualified, maybe you can't do it. You look at the other profiles, look at the competitors, they are much, much better than you. Okay, so what makes you think you can do it and in this competitive market? Okay, so that proof is what I needed to be hooked to the platform. Then I optimized my profile, I started writing better proposals, and I raised my rate. Okay, and I started building more and more stuff on Upwork. Now, the reason number three why I chose Upwork over every other freelance platform, because as I told you, I already tried many of them. For example, Fiverr. It felt to me like a rise to the bottom. Okay, I kept seeing the people who are selling stuff over there, a logo for $5, a web page for $10, or admin assistant for this and that. And also, I didn't like the idea of putting my work as a product. That idea back then wasn't what I wanted. Okay, because if I keep selling a microservice or if I keep selling something that's just packaged, prepackaged, and you just modify per client and you just sell it, that wasn't like a big learning opportunity for me. Okay, so I didn't like the fact of being a seller and waiting for customers to knock on my door. Then the problem with LinkedIn was, of course, because I didn't know even how that works. I had no clue how to build my personal brand. And let's be honest, on LinkedIn, if you don't want to compete with on the jobs, you have to build your personal brand. Okay, so building a personal brand was a long-term game that I wasn't ready for. I just needed to start working right away. Then other platforms came in, like TopTal and some others. Um, Either I had a location limitation because I wasn't based in Europe or in the US, and then some of them they only accepted the top 1% of the experts in their fields. Okay, so I wasn't an expert, of course, so I couldn't make it on those platforms. On the other hand, Upwork was open to anyone really, and still is open to anyone willing to hustle, willing to build something from scratch. It also had very high quality clients, Fortune 500, Forbes clients, really big accounts where if you just start working with them, you're gonna learn much, much more than you ever think. Okay, it was also about the transparent feedback system, the reviews, how it works, the protection that they gave me and to my clients as well in terms of protecting us. Of course, while you have to obey by the rules and the guidelines for that to happen. So that was very important to me. And then there is the endless niches and skills, okay? Because I could choose any skill in high demand. I could just go learn it and come in and start offering my services in that skill. So this is really how I got my like 90% of my experience. Now we are in 2025, October, and when I think about it, it was more than 90% of my experience actually came from Upwork. Okay, came from the clients that I had a chance to work with. And I really thank them, all of them one by one. It wasn't about the money most of the time. It was about being who I am right now. Okay, because even though I started with those small services, I really grew a big and I was hooked to the platform. Now let's talk briefly about the reason number 4. This is my personal freelance playbook, if you want to call it, built on Upwork. So here's what I did that made all the difference in my career. First of all, you you can also do this by the way. You can start with any job that you can perform, okay? Really, any service that you can provide, okay? Because the objective at first is not the money, okay? If you're going into Upwork with the mindset that I want to or I need to get $1,000 from my first contract, I think it's not gonna work unless you are really an expert. In that case, this video is not even for you. Okay, but if you're just starting out, then you really need to start with whatever tasks you can complete because this is how you're gonna build a reputation. You're gonna because you need that first review, you need that first dollar so that your profile starts building a reputation and a history, and then you start getting your Rising Talent badge, and then your top rated badge, and then your top rated plus badge. Okay, then the second advice I give you is to niche down. Once you start getting that reputation, you really need to specialize in one thing. Okay, and this is exactly what I did. Even though my first job was about writing, afterwards I went into my specialty, which was business administration. Okay, I did some admin assistant work, and then I started offering. I built a skill set in project management, and I started offering my digital project management services, and I learned many other tools in terms of management. The third thing that is in my playbook is to respond really fast. I was most of the time among the top 5 people who will apply to a job. Okay, really, the top 3 or the top 5 who are submitting proposals, I was one of them. Okay, even replying to the messages, I reply right away. Okay, then it was about building relationships. I had to build um, relationships, like really proving value to those clients I was working with, so that they can give me so that they can work with me on long term. Okay, and most of my clients, I'm really proud to say that most of my clients were not one-time off clients. It wasn't like selling an order and then like on Fiverr or like on any other platform. It was really staying with the company for at least 3 to 9 months or 12 months. Okay. Then it was about staying professional, clear communication. I'm somebody who's very clear. Okay. I don't like unclarity. I don't like chaos. So I always deliver on time. I always explain exactly what I'm going to provide, and that gave me long-term success. Then there is the over delivery part, which is something I really like to do, especially if at the beginning I did it so much. I under promise my client, so I don't say I'm gonna give you this and extra this and that. No, I just under promise, and then when I deliver much more than I was asked. Sometimes it may be just a 15-minute job, an extra 20 minutes or an extra 1 hour even, that will make the customer very satisfied that they will give you another contract. Okay, so to me, Upwork really taught me the business fundamentals that I never learned in business school. Now, reason number 5 is freelancing isn't easy. Okay, I know that because I've been mentoring freelancers who, or aspiring freelancers for the past more than 12 months, and I am a content creator in freelancing niche. So I talk a lot about freelancing on my social media, and I get hundreds of questions, if not thousands of questions, and all of those questions I know what are the pain points of freelancers. So I'm not gonna lie to you, after 10 years of freelancing on Upwork and on other platforms, by the way, after my career kicked off on Upwork, after a couple of years, I also moved on. It's not like I moved on completely, but I started dividing my income stream on different methods. I used LinkedIn with the lead generation for the lead generation. Then I used email marketing for emailing leads. So after 10 years of all of these experiences, I want to be honest with you. There were nights where I stayed up fixing clients' revisions because the work they needed more revisions, or it wasn't the first chart they really needed something added. And I spent a lot of time working hard to meet the deadlines because the client was on an emergency or they needed to work really fast. There were also mornings when nothing came through, like I was expecting an answer or I really liked a job, but they never answered me. There was that stress. Okay, and some moments I even thought maybe should I give up? Is this the right future that I want because of the society pressure as well? But then I just land my dream client. Right after that, I land my dream client. Okay, then I would get 5-star review, and I land another 500 a day client that doing the work I really love. Okay, so that was really shifting my mindset. I stopped thinking like negatively, and I knew there will be a moment where it will work. Okay, so that's the gift Apple gave me personally, the freedom to choose my clients, my schedule, and my pricing. So now let's end this video by just an advice for you. If you're still wondering if what is like the best freelance platform or if Upwork is right for you, let me tell you this. Upwork is very good. Okay, there are a lot of opportunities over there. I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't see them, if I didn't work with them. Okay, it's not a good platform because it's perfect, but it's because it works, and that's all you need. You don't need a perfect platform. In actually, there is no perfect platform out there. Okay, and you don't need the perfect offer, you don't need the perfect website, you don't need the perfect funnel or whatever. You just need a platform that connects you with the right clients. And this is Upwork. Okay. Um, Upwork was really that model for me, and still it is. Okay. Of course, if I did that, if I reached the level which is right now, by the way, I don't like talking about myself in terms of finances or, success, but I just want to tell you that I am a top rated plus freelancer on Upwork. If I made it, you're also able to make it too. There is no reason why you wouldn't make it. So that's my message for today. And if you like my content, follow me. I have a lot of experiences to share, and I have a lot of content ideas that I want to build in this English channel. Thank you so much.